Dylan, you want your voice to be heard. I think that you should have sang more clearly all those years. That's going to be my
Yeah,
critique on that
right.
one.
I know.
Oh my goodness
Maybe don't mumble
gracious.
so much.
I have pushed the button. I think we are rolling here. Buddy, what is happening? We got it going?
What's going on, dude? It's been a while, man.
There we are. Yeah, we are. All right, awesome. I'm gonna bring it both in. I'll just put us both in here and we'll just do it. You good?
Boom,
Boom.
boom.
He
I'm
said
good,
boom.
man.
It starts with a boom.
Starts with a
All right,
boom.
get that. Let's see. Welcome back to you at home. I'll turn those red lights on in a second. I'll know where to look. Welcome back to the Late Night Playset. It's Tuesdays with Tory, Thursday edition. Tonight is Thursday, September 3rd, 2020. Buddy, September 3rd blows my mind because in 3 days it's my birthday. And as far as I'm concerned, I feel like it just became 2020, just like everybody else. Obviously, we've gone through all of
Yeah,
2020. But I feel like,
it's
oh, it's the new
trippy.
year. I still, in my mind, have that childhood. Remember, it's a bright future. Everything's going to be great in 2020.
Yeah, man, it's trippy. It's like what a year so far, obviously, but then like I don't know. I guess it's from being inside so much, but now it's just like what the year's like over half over now already. Like it doesn't seem
Over
possible.
half
Like
over. Bro, it's September. It's three
it's
quarters over.
crazy. Yeah, yeah. So no summer. Yeah, leaves are falling here already. It's like I'm not ready for this.
You live
Yeah.
on a lake, and you actually enjoyed that experience during this time and everything. Did you feel like you got a summer? Do you feel like you got a summer out of it?
Yeah, yeah, I felt like it was summertime here for sure, but it didn't seem long. It was weird. We didn't really have a spring, I feel like, and I'm afraid we're not going to have much of a fall either, which is what happened last year. It
Right.
just kind of went from like a late summer to like winter. It just
Do you
started to
mean
get
more?
cold and then
Do you mean more climate wise than schedule?
climate wise, but I mean my attitude kind of goes with that as well because like it's just I mean you're from the Northeast. It's so depressing once winter hits. Some people love snow and love the cold, and I'm not
I'm
that
I'm
way.
one of those. I'm one of those people who thrives when everyone else can't stand it.
Yeah, see, I can't stand it. I don't know why am still up here, but
Well, the reason I'm asking is because I feel like we haven't had a summer, so I really feel like it just we just had the holidays, and for
yeah,
me in
yeah,
my life, having a birthday in September or anyone at the end of the year, it's kind of like we have your birthday, and then in my case Halloween, and then Thanksgiving, and then Christmas, and then New Year,
yeah,
and then it's all starting over again. So like once my birthday comes around, I always know it's like this is the ramp up to the end of the year.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
had
It's
no
here.
idea it was anywhere near my birthday. If you asked me 3 days ago when my birthday was, I would have said, I don't know, like 3 months.
Months away. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because in my mind, I don't know how. No, but what the hell matter does the calendar?
I know, I know, I know. It's crazy. I know.
Words to that
I mean,
effect. Really?
yeah, I mean, I've told you every day is like Groundhog Day for me, but like me not having flown a trip since April, like I definitely felt like I got summer. I just wish it would have held on a little longer
Right, I
because
see.
now I'm
Okay.
like, oh, here we go. Now's the downslide to
You
like
almost had the opposite. Okay, all right.
I did, but I still wanted it to be longer, even though I feel like I got a summer just because I hate the winter. I just, and now I'm like, oh my God, like I'm already this bored and it's beautiful out. Like, what's going to happen when I can't even go sit
When
out
the
on my
skies are
back? And
gray, yeah, and you have
yeah,
to
dude,
shovel your way out to walk the
yeah,
dogs.
it's going to be gray everywhere. Like, oh my God, I'm dreading it already. Like, I already have serious anxiety about it and it hasn't even started. So, I don't,
You're
who
gonna do
knows?
fine. You're gonna be great.
If I
You're
can
gonna have a
find a
new car
car,
project by then, I'm sure.
I hope
Um,
so. Like, yeah.
oh, sorry, I didn't mean
Who
to cut
knows?
you off.
No, no, no. You're good.
Oh,
That
good.
was it.
For our friend at home, the only, I mean, it's a random show again. That's what it always is with Tuesdays with Tori, even the Thursday editions, such as this. I just things I want to talk about. Obviously, car stuff, both directions. Smoking Tire Studio, rabbit holes, what you've been watching, our usual stuff.
Cool.
And then and then also, I haven't talked to you in a while, and we've had to delay the show, and we're not on Tuesday. The whole thing. I just would like to catch everybody up with what you've been up to, and maybe my side as well, and all the things.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. You look fantastic. You really do. You look like you are enjoying the time, despite you saying it's driving
I'm
you
doing
nuts?
what I can. I'm finding my little, rabbit holes to go down every week to kind of like keep me, sane. But yeah, it's just it's a good facade. I'm going
Well,
crazy inside.
maybe I should start with a question then. Any chance you watched any of the Mad Maxes over the week?
I haven't. No, no,
Okay,
no,
cool. Then we'll just
no.
cross that out. We'll we'll kill the viewer anticipation.
Yeah, no, I haven't
Everybody
had a
who
chance to
who
watch
dialed
that.
us up tonight just to see if you had watched Mad Max from
I
my
know,
glowing
I know.
review from last
Yeah,
week.
we just lost the three people that were watching, but that's okay.
Well, I remember the first one I think is on Netflix, so it's like readily available.
Okay, cool.
Like for freebie and everything.
I keep hearing Cobra Kai is really good too, and I want to try and start that as well. Have you
Is
watched
there a
that
new
at all?
season? Because it was at the top of the list again the other day.
I don't
Like,
know.
and
I
I
haven't
thought
even
that was
seen
like
the
2 years
first
ago
one.
that came out.
Yeah, and I think it originally came out on like YouTube Red or whatever, the premium that I didn't pay for at first, but now Netflix has it. So I have Netflix, so I'll watch
So
it.
maybe it's the same material, but now it's on Netflix.
I think it is. I think they just got it for their catalog or whatever. So
Well,
I'm
the
gonna have
truth
to
is,
check
I
that
didn't
out.
get to see it on YouTube Red either, so I'm with you. If you
There
want to
you
dive
go.
into that one, I'll check it
There
out.
you go.
I
Yeah,
told you, I think
I
a
kind of
couple
want to
weeks.
watch that.
I
Yeah,
didn't mean to
I'm
step
gonna,
on you
I'm
again.
gonna try and get to it this weekend, so we'll see what happens with that.
Was it with you I was talking about, or within the last couple weeks? I feel like I've done a bajillion podcasts outside of ours. Even was it you? We were talking to we were talking about Mr. Miyagi. Did we talk about this in the last couple weeks?
No, I don't think so.
It might have been with somebody else, but we just watched the original, like I guess now maybe 2 weeks ago, not
Oh,
last
cool.
week, maybe
You
the week
did tell me
before.
that you had watched Karate Kid recently, but I don't remember us talking about Mr. Miyagi.
Oh, okay. It might have been on a podcast with.
It probably was. You have done
One
a
of
lot
those
of them
times I
lately.
was cheating on you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all good. We all get a hall pass.
Should say, by the way, my name is Jay Ryan, and this is my friend over here, Tory Alonzo. There is his Instagram tag. Please follow him at VDubber4Life. And Mrs. Ryan, of course, I didn't mention, is on assignment. However, I found out, I should tell you and our friend at home, I found out that Mrs. Ryan watches the show live while on assignment. So she's actually watching right now. So hello to everybody, to Mrs. Ryan, from everybody to
Nicole.
Mrs. Ryan. Hello, who's watching
What's
right
up,
now.
Mrs. Ryan?
She's probably freaking out. She's probably freaking. What must this be like? I've never had it. Hey, hey. Yeah, yeah. You can reach it. You can reach yours.
Yeah, mine's close.
So okay, so not that, but maybe we'll both do Cobra Kai this next week.
That's cool. Yeah.
Let's start with
do
what.
it.
Let's start with what you're watching.
Oh man.
Let's start. Once I figure this out, what you watching, buddy? It's a new segment.
So this involves my whole rabbit hole. I've been down this for like the last week. Okay. Yeah. I've been on
Oh,
this
your
weird.
things are all connected.
Oh, they're all connected because when
I
I
love
go,
when
I
that
go all
happens.
in.
I love when that
So
happens.
yeah. Do you want to? Let's talk about what you've been watching first because mine's just gonna segue right into all the other stuff.
Oh, smart. Oh, look at you. You're Mr. Producer over there. You really are learning how to build a show. You had booking down years ago. You are Mr. People Person, but you're really figuring out the show stuff now.
Why? Thank you. I like good flow. What can I say?
Yeah, well, maybe you're watching more content now and you figure out now that you're doing it, do you find, actually, this is an interesting question if you don't mind. Do you find now now that you're doing this regularly, being on air and speaking and talking to folks at home, do you find that when you watch other content, you're like both critiquing the content and also yourself at the same time? Do you do any of that
yeah, I would say I
self-analysis, or are
watch
you
it-
not nearly as crazy as I am?
Well, I would say I watch it more to make myself better. I guess.
Yeah,
you could
that's
say.
all part of it. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
But you're
yeah,
you're
that's-
analyzing both directions, right?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah, I definitely am. Like if I'm watching something, then I'm like, what I always hate is when someone goes off on a tangent, but then they completely like lose sight of the original thing that they were talking about that you're really excited to hear about, and then like you just never end up hearing about it again. So I always try to stay like somewhat focused and on track. You're really good at that. Like even if I do go off on a tangent, you'll bring it kind of full circle back around, and then we end up talking about what we were talking about the first time around. But
I'm grateful for
I
you
always
for
hate
saying that. I'm grateful to you
Yeah.
for saying that. I do not feel that's true. I feel like I'm Mr. Tangent who leads people in the
Oh
wrong
no,
direction all the
you're
time.
like good tangent guy because you always bring it back around. It's when people don't bring it back around that I always find myself like, oh, I really would have liked to have heard that story, and then you never hear about it. So who knows? But
Well, that's
no,
interesting.
I have
All
been
right.
watching. I've been listening to other podcasts and stuff. I've been trying to support Matt and watching his podcast lately in the new studio. I watched one with Tanner, and I watched a couple of his other newer ones. I haven't watched your crew show yet. I need to do that, but I did watch the Tanner Faust one. That was pretty good.
I enjoyed that one also.
Yeah.
As far as what we have been watching,
Yeah, what have you been up to?
What you watching?
What you watching, Jay Ryan?
This is so fun. I've been in a studio, for like a while now, but I haven't been in this seat, since this time last week, I guess. So
Yeah.
I'm a little out of practice. We went down I wouldn't call this a rabbit hole, but just it's a direction we hadn't been in a while. I'm assuming because you're a lake person, you've seen Ozark.
Oh yeah, I always watch Ozark. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm always up to speed on that. And then when the new season comes out, I'll binge it immediately. I love that. Jason Bateman's amazing in that.
I feel similarly, pretty much across all those points you just made. I am caught up myself with everything, but Mrs. Ryan was not. I think she'd seen the first season and maybe a couple of maybe the second. So anyway, we restarted the second season from the beginning
Cool.
to sort of just get caught up. And we have, over this week, we have watched the second season. It's 10
Awesome.
episodes, I think.
Yes.
And theoretically tonight after this show we will start season 3 or maybe tomorrow at this point. But so that's what
cool.
we've
Now,
been
correct
into.
me if I'm wrong, because it's been a little while, but the end of season 2, that's where they got the casino boat, right?
Yes, I don't want to say too much for anybody who might, because I would highly recommend.
Yeah,
this
that's
show.
not giving away anything because you'll see it. But like, yeah, definitely. Like that's where you leave off, I think, with season 2. So season 3 is that one. Okay, cool. You'll like it. It's good.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just gets approved. All right, so there's a casino. It just gets approved, and then in the season 3, I believe that I don't want to say because Mrs. Ryan's watching live. But yes, other stuff happens.
Sweet. Yep.
Anyway, about that show, I couldn't agree more about Jason Bateman. I've always loved him, even from Valerie way back in the old day, Valerie's Family.
Oh yeah, I remember
the
that
Hogan
show.
Heroes
Yeah.
or whatever that show, Hogan's Family, whatever it was. It was Valerie, and then she left the show because of contract stuff. Or was fired because of contract stuff, something with contract stuff, money, I'm assuming. And then it became Sandy Duncan. I always do this, which is totally unfair, but she's one of the 3 actors I know with the
I
glass
always
eye.
think of Wheat Pins. I totally always think
Sammy
of Wheat Pins
Davis,
when I think
Peter
of
Falk, and Sandy Duncan. Everybody knows that.
Yeah. So funny.
Anyway, see, there you go. There's a tangent. Totally pointless. I've always loved him. Arrested Development, obviously, is probably when his adult career took off, as far as I can.
Oh yeah.
Don't you think?
I would say
And
so,
then,
yeah.
did you
I
ever
mean, it's
see?
certainly what broke him out, and made him a huge star, I would say.
I think so
Even
too.
more so than like some of the movies he's done. In
Oh, you mean
subsequent
more than
times,
Werewolf
but-
2 or Teen Wolf 2? Yeah, perhaps.
Yeah, exactly.
But did you ever see the movie? It was very small, and I probably had a tiny budget. And I don't know anyone who's seen it unless they saw it with my wife or myself. Did you ever see the movie Bad Words? It's
No.
starring Jason Bateman.
Never saw it.
It was such a small movie. I have to assume it's available for free everywhere, if not somewhere. Somewhere, if not everywhere. Get it together, buddy. Okay.
They may actually pay you to watch it. Maybe it's that bad that like, hey, we'll credit you on
wouldn't
your
that be
next
funny?
monthly cycle if you just give this thing some.
I
some
just want to
views.
say, if you're able to watch it somewhere, it's not a bad movie. It's I love it. She loves it too. We've probably seen it 10 times because when we first saw it, it was also the drinking days, and it's a really funny movie. So it's like really funny. So anytime somebody
It's
came
called
over,
Bad
let's put a
Words?
movie on. Let's put this one on. But it's very, very funny. Catherine Hahn's in it too, and a very talented little kid who I don't know anything about. By the way, that movie probably came out 10 years ago, so the kid's probably grown up now.
I'll have to check it out. I'm intrigued.
But Ozark, man, the characters in Ozark and the
It's
storytelling.
a great show. Yeah.
For anybody who hasn't seen it, it's incredibly, I hate to say it's just smart, but it is. It's smart storytelling. They don't slow down for you. It's very slow how it all happens, how it unfolds. But it's very intelligently played out and told, and they don't slow down. Like if you didn't get it, you better pick it up or rewatch that episode or something because they're not gonna give it to you again later.
Yeah.
Really.
My favorite part of that is like at the very beginning, I'm sure you've noticed this, but there's always like
Oh, I
There's
know
like a little
the
the
pictograph.
checkerboard with
The
like that. Yeah, I
pictograph
love that.
thing.
And
Yeah, it's
like
a
the little
four-piece.
yeah, you'll see like a little picture of a kitten, and it's like, oh, how's the kitten gonna come into
Yeah, it's
play
like
with this?
binoculars, a garbage truck, a kitten, and a knife. Like,
It's
wait,
like
what?
what? Yeah, I love that. But
But
then by
somehow
the
they
end of the
do all play
episode,
through.
yeah, the end of the episode, you're like, oh yeah, kitten, knife, yeah,
Yeah,
get it,
garbage
yeah.
truck and doorknob. There they all are.
Garbage truck, and yeah, they made it work. It's hilarious. I love it. So
Oh,
yeah, great show, great writing.
There's that. I have gotten back into the Joe Rogan podcast lately, only I think because of nostalgia, because it's leaving YouTube. Like I'm like, oh, I want to watch it while I still can or whatever. Although apparently you can. I say this because I don't have a Spotify account because we don't even have a radio in the car and we have our own music here. Like I just don't really have a use for Spotify at this point in my life. But I'm not against the app or anything. Apparently, you can still watch the shows on Spotify for free. I'm sure there are probably ads or something, but I don't care about that. It's fine. So maybe it's still accessible to us. Maybe it's not like satellite radio where like it's a paywall and you have no choice. When Howard Stern
Did you read the article about that though? I read an article. Who knows if it's true? I haven't.
I read a bunch. So
anything,
tell me what you're thinking. Yeah.
Yeah, they said that a lot of the episodes with like kind of conservative guests were.
I read this the other day.
Gone. Like they just were not on there whatsoever.
I wouldn't say conservative. I would say like ultra right wing extreme. Like they said like the Alex Jones episode and some of those types.
Yeah.
They said weren't there, and I can understand why a new entity wouldn't necessarily want them there because it probably doesn't align with whatever. But it to me it is a bigger. You're calling more attention by pulling it away. So then, are you making a statement that we should all know now? By pulling it away, like Joe Rogan, for instance, is believe it or not, no matter what you think of him, his even though he's kind of a Hollywood guy, whatever, his politics are pretty conservative.
He goes against the grain politics wise, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, he's a pretty conservative guy. And in every way, I mean, he's got the American flag behind him and everything, and I love
very
Joe
much
Rogan.
a patriot.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there's something
I'm
in
sure
the future
it's a
that'll come
corporate
out.
thing.
Who knows? I don't know.
Who knows? But I just thought that was interesting. I read that the other day.
Spotify's big, right? I mean, they are huge.
Yeah, they're huge.
I guess to spend $100 million on Joe Rogan, you have to be pretty big.
Yeah, I would think so. Now, when does he start his Texas studio? Is that soon?
I don't have the answer to that, but I heard that he may already be there. So I don't know when his episodes are taped, how they're banked, how they're backlogged. I don't know what their schedule is. I did hear from a pretty good, reliable source that I don't want to reveal here that the studio's done. That the studio's like they're over there. I mean, like he may.
That's cool.
I think he's in Texas. I don't know why I'm being coy about it. Like it's just not my place to blow somebody else. Yeah. Not like the million people who are watching our show right now.
Everyone knows now.
What am I worried about?
Jay,
I still have this old brain of the entertainment industry where like you have to protect the wall back there. Like there's a curtain. You're not supposed to know that there's 26 people.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry for anything.
Well, it's being a good person, though. I mean, you know, I don't like blowing up people's spots either. I mean,
yeah. Well, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like,
I do know what you mean.
For instance, being around Matt Farah a lot now. I mean, he's got to deal with a little bit more of like the stuff we used to in Hollywood, as far as not secrecy, but just privacy. Really, it comes down to privacy.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know his new business, and also just the people that he deals with on a regular basis.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's privy to a lot of information that people would probably find interesting. But you've got to kind of,
for instance, completely unrelated. We had a car conversation about Joe Rogan because I'm not going to give any of the information away. But Joe Rogan wanted a car that you can't get because of whatever. And he called Matt Farah and he was like, "Listen, do you know anybody? What's the deal? You know?" And Matt was able to make some calls and make the right thing. And it looks like I think something will probably happen, but because of Matt, you know what I mean? So it's like
that's cool.
All the little synapses fire.
Yeah,
good stuff.
It is good stuff.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but I guess is that point in the show where I get amped up. I'm excited to talk to you.
I know. Well, we haven't talked to each other for literally over a week now, I think, because you did this.
It would have been last Tuesday, right? Previous Tuesday.
Yeah, the previous Tuesday. Yeah, is the last time we did the show. So, yeah, it was crazy. But yeah, I'm glad we're here now. So
Oh, I don't have a mask here. I just looked down at my car, but I should tell you, if we are still wearing masks here in Los Angeles, and I think throughout a lot of the country. And if you see somebody who isn't wearing a mask but should be, you could say to them, "Hey, man, need a mask? ShopHunziker.com." That's what we did.
I wear
Sorry, I looked down at the card. I figured, we'll do that
every
right.
day.
And
Every
would
day.
you remind me later when we talk about our friends at St. Clair Insurance that I have something I want to talk to you about, that I learned some information. Maybe we'll do it now. I don't know. But I learned something very interesting about Hagerty and about Hagerty Insurance and how their whole system works. And I want to tell you later when we talk about St. Clair Insurance, coverageforyourtoys.com. That's a little bonus one. We did it now. In fact, this is good because we didn't have the show on Tuesday, so we'll do it now a little bit. St. Clair Insurance, coverageforyourtoys.com. Highly recommend.
Awesome.
And then I'll tell you a little bit about that, and we'll do another plug later. That's perfect.
Cool.
It's
Sounds like a
almost
plan.
as though I had planned it.
I know. It's just that good, man. That's what it is. That's what it boils down to. Professional in the house.
All right, I told you I've been watching the. But what did I want to tell you about Joe Rogan was, do you watch that show sometimes, right?
The Joe
Not
Rogan
like regularly,
Experience?
but you watch it every once in a while.
I usually will watch the cut downs on YouTube. Yeah, they always
okay.
come up for me because I'm always watching those, and I love them. They're great, and
Yeah.
he's really good at the cut down thing too. So
Is that Jamie
I
who's
watch
doing
him a
that?
lot.
That's Jamie
I
who
don't
does
know.
that, right?
Maybe so, but whoever does it is brilliant because they get me every time. Because I'll see someone and I'll be like, oh yeah, let's see what this is about,
And they loop
tease
one
it
into
just
the
enough.
next, and 6 minutes becomes 18 minutes, becomes 22
Yeah, and
minutes.
then before you know it, you've watched the whole 4-hour podcast that you didn't originally want to watch. Yeah, exactly. So, but it worked.
Dude, speaking of which, I wasn't even going to talk about this because I haven't seen this one, but the last one, I think the most recent one up, is over 5 hours long.
Wow.
Over
That's
5
crazy.
hours long, and it's one guy, Duncan Trussell.
That's a lot of cut downs, but they go on some crazy ass tangents there though.
I read the
mean,
little blurb. It said something about like many substances were ingested. I think
that
they were
helps.
drinking and probably
Yeah.
smoking weed or whatever.
Oh
That's funny.
yeah. Freaking doing acid and mushrooms. Like, of course it's gonna be 5 hours by the time everything's said and done. Like you solved all the world's problems, you know.
Well,
But
that was in the old studio, and I didn't watch the episode yet, and I don't know. Maybe it's all covered. Maybe everyone else knows this, and we're behind the times. But maybe that big hoopla was the blowout in the old studio. I don't know.
Could
But
be.
what I was going to say, what I did want to mention was Whitney Cummings was on with another comedian, female comedian. We used to say comedian. I don't know what you're supposed to say these days, so I think you just say comedian, whose name I don't remember right now. Otherwise, I would say it. Annie Lederman, I think might be her name. They were both on, and Joe's like, "You guys should have a podcast," because it was just an energy. It was just the two of them. You don't have to
bouncing
do
back
anything.
and
You can
forth.
just sit there and waste
Really?
no energy and just have them do their thing. And it's just like, oh my God, are they ever going to wear each other out? No, I have to see this.
wow.
And he just kept saying it over and over and over. And by the end of it, I think they had all sort of agreed that they may even use Joe Rogan's studio while he's out of town to do this
Oh, how
other
funny is that?
Whitney Cummings show. I don't know. She's got one in her house too, so I don't know. It's kind of interesting.
Wow.
But it does
That's
seem
cool.
to be like the podcast TV show is the future. It's the current and future.
Yeah.
Whatever we're doing here, this thing we're doing that a long time ago nobody else was doing.
Yeah, that I would also like to point out you did before a lot of people. Yeah,
If I knew the business element, if I knew the get the clicks and all that stuff, yeah, we totally would be there with them. I don't know. I think we'll figure that part out now. I think we will now that we're finally at least talking
we
about
just need to start doing drugs, and then we'll go on these 5-hour tangents, and then we get someone to do the cut downs. You know, and then we're there.
it. You make it sound so easy. You
I
do-
know, then we'll go
all right,
buy
first
our-
you do the drugs, then you
Yeah.
get the cut downs.
Yeah, exactly. I know. It's so easy.
First we get the khakis, then we get the jobs, then we get the chicks.
Do you remember that South Park that was like phase 1, collect underpants. Phase
No, but it's
2,
the same joke. It's from basketball,
phase
so it's those
3,
guys.
Profit.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
funny.
Yeah. That was great.
Shout out to
Oh,
Danbury
that's funny.
Chive, by the way. I completely forgot during our last show. We were checking in with them from Lime Rock, and then we did what we're doing right now, just went, and I completely forgot to keep checking in with them. So with our guest the other day, thank you, by the way, Jason Torchinsky.
Love Jason.
I'm just gonna pull the plug. We are everywhere, so I'm just gonna.
Yeah, it's a free. No, I'm following. We're bobbing and weaving.
Nobody else could possibly follow this. All right, when we left you last Tuesday, previous Tuesday, when we left our friend at home, I was said that our new friend Brock from 996 Road Trip would be here. One thing led to another. Brock was here. He was not here. Whatever. We saw him. We did the Newcomb's Ranch. He's amazing. He ended up getting invited to and then staying at the PEC LA, the PECLA, and doing the whole movie night and everything. So he wasn't able to get here. Whatever. So then we were kind of scrambling for a guest last minute, and Tory was like, "Oh." If you remember on the show on Tuesday, we were like, "Hey, you should have Jason Torchinsky on this show because blah blah blah. That'll be fun." And we thought someday. We didn't think like tomorrow. Then we had the cancellation. Then Tory talks to Jason. He's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." He's like, "Well, what about tonight?" He's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it." And that's how we got Jason Torchinsky on the show. So that's how that all happened. What was I talking about right before that tangent, though, that I said before we pulled the plug?
Oh,
was
gosh,
there
now
anything
you're
else?
putting me
I
on.
thought I was.
You're putting me
I thought
on
I
the
was
spot.
trying to let our friend know something else, and maybe I wasn't.
I don't know. I loved Jason's show. Jason did awesome. You guys went on the little space tangent. Like I thought that was fantastic.
I hope that he wants to do our show again because that was really fun for me to talk to him. I felt like I was talking to like somebody. I let my guard down. I could just be me.
Yeah.
Full
that's
nerd,
the nice thing about Jason. Yeah. That's the nice thing about Jason. He's so like easily, you just feel like you've known him your whole life, and he's just a really, really nice guy.
There are some subjects that like our car people know about that like I just, I say this all the time, but I know more about cars than the guy on the street and the average person in our complex here, of course. But like compared to the people that we talk to, I know nothing about cars. Compared to the echelon of people that we have on this show, right. I'm Cole Trickle. They put me in the car and said, "Drive." I could drive. I don't know anything about cars. So having him, he has other interests outside of cars. I guess like all people, but his are more like kind of nerd related, like space, like the Yugo. We went on a little thing, we went a little Back to the Future and a little bit movie, in a couple different places. That was just really, really fun, and I'd love to have more of that.
Yeah. He'd be fun in person too. Like, I mean, once this COVID thing if it's ever over, and because he comes out to LA a lot, like he'll go out for like the LA Auto Show for Jalopnik or whatever.
I'd love to have him here. I'm hope maybe he would nerd out about this a little bit because who knew he was a big Letterman fan. When I told him that, he was like, "Are you serious?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm sitting at the Letterman desk right now. Like this is the old stuff."
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave. And
then he pulls out the book and it's like, it's perfect.
Yeah, I think when he actually took that in, it was like, oh, and he's like, late night playset. Oh, it all kind of clicked.
Yes. Yeah, really cool. He's probably one of the most knowledgeable people about like 70s and 80s era like video game consoles too. Like not just like the typical Atari 2600, like Coleco and like old
arcade
school
consoles.
Like, yeah, and even like pre Atari home arcade stuff like Commodore 64 and just the stuff didn't really take off. Like
I had
all that stuff. And
he had computers
stuff
behind him. I think we made a joke about that.
Yeah, his whole basement is nothing but that kind of gear. It's insane because I've stayed at his house before, and we went down in the basement where he like does all of his stories for Jalopnik, and it's literally like a mad scientist workshop. It looks like you could build a robot down there or something. It's really cool.
Yeah, I love that environment. I mean, hello.
It's cool. Yeah, he's a good guy though. Like super interesting guy, super fascinating background with his comedy. Like I knew you'd like that part. That's a part that a lot of people don't know about Jason. He's super funny. I mean, they know that from his writing, but like his actual like comedy sketch background too. I mean, he did some cool stuff. Did you end up watching that the colostomy bag?
No, I still have it bookmarked on the computer, but other people that I know are commenting that they watched it and then talking about it, and they all said it's great. Funny. So I need to do it. Has Jason Torchinsky let me get my grammar proper here. Have Jason Torchinsky and Johnny Lieberman ever done anything together? Because I have a feeling I would love to see that.
Well, I'm sure I mean, surely they know each other just because they're both automotive journalists. I don't know if they've ever
I
done like
might
a
want to see
pilot
them
or a
either
show or
host
anything together.
something or because they're similar yet different enough. Basically, what I see there,
Yeah.
but those two is the automotive Mythbusters. If it works, it might
Yeah,
not work at all. I
totally.
don't know. But in my
Yeah.
mind, I see two people who look at the world differently than most
Hmm.
and differently from each other, but yet with that same kind of fucking, oh, pardon me, same kind of enthusiastic,
Yes.
exuberant, no, kind of a zest. You know what I mean? They have a childlike perspective in a certain way. There's like a little gleam to
Yeah.
the way they see things, and
I'm honestly surprised nobody's picked them up to do a show that's like the best and worst cars in one episode because Jason's been doing that for years with Jason Drives. And then it seems like Johnny like really
that's his.
loves like the high end stuff. That's his jam is like these Lambos and McLarens and it'd
But
be
he'll
cool to
also
do them
do
in one
that
show.
bookend stuff like you just mentioned. Like today, they put up a thing with Johnny where he drove the old Speedster and the new Speedster. You know, there was like a bookend thing.
Oh, cool. Very cool.
So I just have a feeling like I don't know. Maybe we should pitch that. Maybe we maybe we should
I think it'd
brainstorm
be
in front of
hilarious.
everybody.
I think it'd be really cool. And they're both like really good on camera and, witty writers and yeah,
Yeah,
great
that's what I
comedic
mean. They're both so
timing. Like,
intelligent. They're both so witty.
yeah. And that's pretty rare. That's like finding the Top Gear guys that know how to haul ass and drift and talk at the same time. Like
And tell a joke,
that's
yeah. And have
yeah, that's
comedic
hard.
timing. It's like you don't have most people don't have one of those things, let alone all three.
Yeah, and those guys both could do them at the same time, like in a show together.
I don't
Yeah,
know
it'd be
why
great. I don't know if
I
they
want
ever
to
have
see it.
not.
I want to see
It's a
it. It
good
should
question.
happen. It should
It
happen.
should. I agree. That'd be cool. I mean, dude, if you go on the Motor Trend app and you look at some of these, I mean, these shows are just terrible. Some of the stuff they put out there, and I'm like, who greenlit this stuff? But then you've got guys like Torchinsky and Johnny that I mean, how has someone not put a show like that on the air?
I don't know.
I'm
I don't
sure
know.
a
I
lot of
might
it
be
comes down
crazy.
to
It might
money
not
too.
work at all. But for some reason, the whole time I
Uh,
was watching Torchinsky, I was reminded of Johnny. Yet they're nothing alike. Yet there's
yeah,
something there where they might be parable. Like they might be parable, or they might clash. I don't know.
yeah. Either way, I think it would work. That's the funny thing.
Yeah,
But
I do too. I do too. And it would be. All I know is the content would be very, very watchable.
it would be. It would be.
Uh,
Indeed.
well, let's deal with your rabbit hole here, buddy. Let's hear what you
Oh my
watched
God.
so we can
So,
figure out what you've been up to, and then that'll probably bring us to cars.
oh, it's always about cars with me for some reason. Yes. So, so this whole thing started the other day, and actually, I talked to you right at the beginning of this whole thing. Like, it hadn't even started. I was talking to you. I think you had texted me one day,
Mm-hmm.
and you were like, "What are you up to?" And or can you talk or something? And I was like, "Oh, I was like, I'm going through my warehouse, like getting parts together to sell. I'm gonna purge some stuff." And so, of course, it's not just me purging parts and like organizing stuff. I have to start going through all these bins, and the more bins I go through, then the more back in history, in my
Oh, the
own
deeper the
personal history, I
dive,
end
of
up going.
course.
Oh yeah, so I'm doing the dive, and I get to like the high school and pre-high school bin of like all this stuff, and like I think I posted the picture that I found on Instagram of me with my blue bug that I drove in high school, and I had this like super tacky airbrushed shirt that I'm wearing in it, and it's a shirt of my own car. And so I kept all this stuff. Like, dude, I had my vanity plate from when I had that car. It was like AVW to NV, and I mean just like cheese ball, like 80s 90s goodness, whatever.
I
But
think
I
it's awesome.
remembered these being such fun times. I'd go to these car shows, these Volkswagen shows when I was younger, and I grew up on these car shows, and in just the styles back then were crazy. And so I was like thinking to myself, and then I start going through like all these old like hot VWs and VW Trends magazines. Like I still have them all from like the 80s, and I'm just looking at the styles, and I was like, gosh, like with all this Radwood stuff going on, like it's only a matter of time before this stuff starts to come back in vogue as well. And like
Yeah,
I
that's
should
true.
probably try and track one of these cars down. Like let me see what's still out there. Well, I can tell you this: there's not many of them left. Probably for obvious reasons. I think a lot of people. What you have to understand is most of these cars, like the really really cool like 80s and 90s custom cars, They all were centered in like mostly LA, but Northern California too. And then you had these other little like, you know, geographic spots where they had kind of their own look. So like the East Coast had a look, and in Texas we had kind of a look, but like
We
California always had the best cars.
when we had
Always.
Chuck Miller on the show, he talked about that a little bit about how like the regions do have a different. It's almost like music, right? Like East
It
Coast, West
is.
Coast vibes, that type of thing.
Yeah, yeah. You've got just different vibes. And
Different
what's
painters, different ride heights, different setups, things
different
like that.
styles. Exactly. So, and what's particularly interesting about this is even in LA, you had the East LA look. You had guys down in Orange County that did their Volkswagen a certain way. So there's all these like subgenres within subgenres of the Volkswagen custom scene. And so I really started to like get excited about this again. And I was like, I'd like to find one of these cars and just bring it back. So I've looked and looked. I've come up short almost every time, and I'm on this Facebook page that's called like 80s and 90s custom VWs or something like that, and it shows all these like crazy paint jobs and all these cars from the 80s and 90s. And so someone posted a picture of this yellow bug that was like
Now I
it,
have
and
pictures
it's
here, so you let me know what pictures you want when.
so the one I want you to show is the one that it looks awful. It's all crappy looking. It's like parked next to a phone pole, and it looks like it's just basically been set out to the curb for trash. I mean, it's like it's bad.
Yeah, it's a combination with a red one as well, right?
No, 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 no.
But I
That's a
mean, I
different
think you
one.
sent them as one file. I don't think I can separate them.
Oh,
Well,
did
I'm
I?
gonna put it up
They
and
should
whatever.
be.
Here it is.
They should be different. Okay, yeah, that's not the one, but that's okay.
Oh,
So
sorry.
basically,
Well,
no,
hang
it's
on.
okay.
It's this is all here. It's we got this.
Yeah, the
Oh,
last
there.
one. That's the one I want you to show. Yeah, I
There
guess
you
it's
go.
not a foam pole. It's like some kind of concrete barrier or whatever.
Sure.
So this picture pops up. Okay, dude, I remembered this car when I was a kid. Okay, this car was called
Oh,
No
you know this car.
Control.
You know this actual vehicle.
I know this actual car. It's from the magazines. It was
Yellow
it was
car.
you it was in Hot VW's magazine, and it was in all these car shows and stuff. Dude, this car used to clean up shop back in the 80s. It was called No Control. It was from Northern California. So I went through all these other bins. I went back like a couple days ago, went through all my bins, and I found all my old, the rest of my Hot VWs magazine. I started going through them, and the other pictures that I sent you are all the pictures of the car back in its prime in the 80s
So
in the
should I
Northern
bring some of those up?
California. Yeah, yeah, start putting some of those up. If and so that's the magazine that it was in. It was in Hot VWs in January of 1985, and I found all these pictures of this car in the car show. Dude, this car was so clean. Like they would take the wheels off of it at the car shows, and then you
There
could
you
see
go.
like yeah, it was all detailed. They had mirrors underneath it. So it's just crazy to me that in a matter of 30 years, this car could go from, you've got the beauty queen on the fender to now it's basically sitting outside. It's been neglected. Well, I tracked the car down, dude. The car is still in Northern California, and the guy that owns it, I'm trying basically at this point I'm trying to convince him to sell me the car. I'd say it's like a 50-50 shot at this point, but I've already tracked down the guy that built the car originally, and
No
he was
shit.
like, "Oh yeah," he's like all about it. He was like, he said, "I do know about the car." He said, "I did see it." He said, and it absolutely broke my heart when I saw it because he put so much of himself into this car. And
Oh, when he
he
saw its
told me that,
condition currently.
yeah, yeah, and he was so
Oh,
bummed about it.
wow.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah, and this guy's kind of all any of the car guys that are watching this can totally empathize with this because we've all dealt with these people. It's I'm gonna get to it one day. I love that car so much it's not for sale. I'm gonna fix it up, and then they never do. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what's happening with this car.
You're right. That's
So
very relatable
yeah, and it's just
to
like,
all
and
of
this
us in
happens.
every project.
Yeah, and it just happens all the time with the car world, especially like for whatever reason with Volkswagens and stuff. It's just like you see an old bus or something like sitting behind a guy's house, and you're like, hey, I'll buy that. No, 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 not for sale. I'm gonna fix it up. You go back in 20 years, it's still sitting there with flat tires. I mean, this happens all the time.
Yeah, or somebody
So
passes away and they just haul it to the auction or
yeah, and then
whatever.
they end up hauling it away for free. It's
Yeah.
like, we idiot. I would have paid you, $4,000 for the car back then, but now you got nothing. So congratulations. But so I don't know. So right now I'm at this weird like stalemate with the owner, and I told him, I said, dude, look, I'm gonna level with you. I said, you've got the biggest fish on the hook right now you're ever going to have for this car. I said,
Oh,
any
good
other
point.
Volkswagen person is going to be like, I don't want that. That thing's so dated. It's so, 80s. It's so like the 80s scene is not being embraced yet with the
Right.
Volkswagen crowd, but it's coming. I'm telling you,
Oh,
with the
you're
whole
right.
Radwood thing, it's coming, dude. Like, and people are going to start snatching these cars up from the 80s that have this magazine history. And there's not many of them left, Jay, because a lot of them went to Japan in the late 80s. When the yen was really strong, they started buying up all of our cars. 57 Chevys, Volkswagens, the old buses, like a lot of
Interesting.
cars went to Japan and never came back. So there's strike one. Strike two is the whole scene changed. A lot of the guys that were into the old Volkswagens ended up jumping ship and going to the mini truck fad, and they just never came back. So the
Ah.
cars got sold off, and then they went into they're pressed into daily transportation mode, and they just got beat and run into the ground and then junked. So there's strike two. And then strike three is the really, really nice cars that are still left. No one's selling. Like it's the guys that originally built them in the
Hanging
80s.
on to him.
They're hanging on to them. And in just this is so weird, but I just found out that the Grand National Roadster Show, which is a big deal, big hot rod show, they've invited 100 Volkswagens to be at this next Grand National Roadster Show, and they're trying to find as many of these old 80s show cars as possible. So now all of these old school guys that said they'd never sell their car are coming out of the woodwork to show their car for the first time in like 30, 35 years, which is crazy. So it's weird. There's a
So
weird
things
thing
are at
happening
least
with the
being
80s.
unearthed. You're seeing things that you hadn't seen or didn't know
Oh,
were.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. So that's the whole rabbit hole I went down. And then, like, on YouTube, there's videos of like all these old car shows. Like, there's one that's like the Sacramento Bugorama from like the late 80s or the early 90s. And, like,
Are they
guys
produced
are
videos,
wearing
or is it just like someone walking around with a camcorder,
it's
like we
basically a
would
dude.
do?
Yeah, it's basically like a dude with a JVC and then like really, really cheesy effects added in post production. So, I mean,
Yeah, but it's almost what you want. That's period from
it
from
is.
the time. I mean, how many
Yeah,
car
it's
shows have
totally
a
like how.
produced video? You know.
Yeah, yeah. And they're great to watch. You can watch them on YouTube. But they have like bikini contests. I remember all this when I was a kid. I used to go to them. But like it's so funny to see how times have changed now. Like there's, all the stuff that's going on like that would not fly nowadays. But like everyone's just having a good time. Everyone's walking around with a beer in their hand. Like it was just a big party. And like VW shows now are so different. It's weird. Like, I mean, even take away the bikini, thing. They're just different. It's just a different vibe now. But it was cool this week going down that whole like nostalgic, blast from the past. I mean, it was just like the guys in all these videos are like wearing like really short shorts and like Hawaiian shirts. And I mean, they all look like they're an extra from Magnum PI or something. Like it's freaking hilarious, dude. But it's so cool to see. So that's what I want. I want another 80s custom bug.
And
That's
maybe even this one.
I really want this one, Jay. That's the one that I really want, just because I remember that car when I was a kid, seeing it in the magazine, and then just seeing that it just needs help. Like
Yeah.
that's what.
So if you did get it, would you restore it back to like the magazine shape, or would you change the car? I mean, would it
So
look like this
put
again?
so put the other picture up of what it looks like now. I'll show you exactly what I would do. So I found that the color is 1977 Corvette yellow with a gold pearl on top. So I would definitely replace that front fender. But
Mm-hmm.
the other stuff, like I would just preserve it. Like a good paint guy could probably touch up some of that, but those graphics, like you'd be really hard pressed to find someone that could duplicate
You would
those. I
never
mean, someone
replicate
like
it perfectly.
no, I mean, I would trust someone like Pinstripe Chris. He could do that totally, but I don't want to truck my car all the way out to freaking California,
Right.
and then, not for that. So like,
Not for
I
that
would
car.
no. So I would basically just clean up and preserve what's there, fix that fender, rebuild the motor, go through all the mechanicals, and dude, I would rock that car as is. And like that front bumper wasn't on it when it was in the magazine, so I take the front bumper off and like supposedly it needs rewiring, and the guy that owns it is just way in over his head. He's not a car guy, and I'm like, look, dude, you're never gonna be able to fix this car up. It's just not gonna happen if you haven't done it in,
You're like, I'm doing you a
spent
favor.
I I legit am. And I told him, I said, look, you're never going to find someone that's going to pay as much as I would pay for this car just because I love it so much. Not even the guy who built the car wants it because it's
I
such
have
a
a
piece of
feeling.
shit now.
I have a feeling you told him you wanted so much. He's just waiting to drive the price up with
I don't
you.
think so. Well, you know what, Jay? I've been here before. I had
That's
this
true.
happen with a Herbie one time, and it's one of those weird. It's a weird thing where you have to let them know that you're interested enough in the car that you're willing to pay more than the next guy, but not so interested that you won't just walk away if he comes back with a crazy price.
Yeah.
So supposedly the guy's a school teacher. Like he's not in the best shape right now financially. This shop told me. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I really hope I get it because it's a badass car. And I remember it when I was a kid.
You said
And if
NorCal.
not,
Did you say where it is up there?
yeah, it's outside of Sacramento.
Oh, that's right. You did say that. That's right.
Yep. It used to
Not
go to
really
the.
like
I mean,
a fun driving area that I know of.
no. But they did have like one of the biggest car shows for Volkswagens was up there. It's called the Sacramento Bugorama, and it was at the Sacramento Raceway.
Oh,
So I
no
mean,
kidding.
matter
Oh,
of
is that the
fact,
video?
dude, they used to.
Is that the video you were watching
It's
from
one
that
of the
show?
videos, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So, matter of fact, that was such a big show that they used to have this thing called the California Caravan, and all of the local Volkswagen clubs from the LA and Orange County area would meet up and they would caravan on Interstate 5 the whole way up to Sacramento together. And it would, I mean, dude, we're talking 500 freaking Volkswagens, Jay.
I don't know if it's a
On
fun or a nightmare. Does that sound fun to you? Would that be fun to you? I can't tell.
Back then it would have been just because of the scene. Now, no, I wouldn't do it. And also, I mean, cars are so much faster
Because
now
you're an
too.
adult or because you know more? Why? Why would you?
Uh, well, yeah, for starters, I'm 43 and, my back is not what it used to be. But
Yeah.
also, like back then,
Feel
I
that
probably would have had like 4 girls in the car with me or, well, not with the shirt I was wearing back then, but you know what I mean. But, but like, cars weren't as fast. I mean, now like people are doing like 90 down the interstate. Like it wasn't like
Oh,
that
I
back
know.
then, I mean, you didn't have people running you over off the road. So
Yellow
like,
cars is totally a slow car out here for sure, compared to
yeah,
just what's on the freeways.
but back then, absolutely, I would have been down for it. I mean, I used to drive my Volkswagen from Midland, Texas to Dallas for the Volkswagen shows there, and that was like 6 hours each way. So yeah, I'd have
In
been
an
down for
air-cooled
that.
bug just to get to the show.
Yeah, just by myself. So I mean, imagine being with like 500 other like VW freaks. Oh yeah, sign me up. I'd have been all over that. That would have been awesome.
Did you
Yeah,
ever know
but
anything
times
about
have
Saturn?
changed.
The car company Saturn?
I mean, I remember them. Yeah.
You're like, I remember it existed, Jay.
Well, they had
well, you know
their,
that I used
like
to work
claim to
there,
fame
right?
was they were the yeah, I did know that. They were like the plastic panels too, right? Like you couldn't dent the Saturn.
Excuse me, it was polymer panels. The polymer panels.
My bad.
Space
not
age
plastic.
polymer.
Yeah. How dare I?
I used to have to hit it with a rubber mallet, or I think at first maybe our hand, maybe a rubber mallet. I don't remember. With
Was that
every
part of
single
the whole
walk
walk-around
around with
demo?
every single customer, because everything was designed for how you had to do everything.
Yeah.
Anyway, the reason I was asking about that was one of the other things that made them unique, in addition to the plastic polymer panels, and the and the no haggle pricing, which became totally normal.
Oh yeah, that's all across the board now.
They used to do a Saturn homecoming every year, where they would open up the plant to anyone who had a Saturn, and everyone could
No way, that's cool.
come down to the plant for like 1 week a year. I think in the beginning it was every year. I think by the end it was like once every couple years or something. But it was a really, really kind of a neat thing. It was like it was weird how passionate people were about that car.
Oh,
It was
I remember
it was
that.
surprisingly so. It was people who bought into the whole Saturn like
Yeah.
ecosystem, whatever,
Yeah.
the culture, I guess. Really bought in hard, and it was like, no, it's a family. It's like part of the Saturn family.
I remember that. Yeah, I do remember that for sure.
How Riney
Yep.
used to do the commercials. He was like the most trusted voice in America, and he was the voice on all the ads, through the
Yep.
cornfields and everything.
I would say it's kind of like the Prius, like when the Prius came out, like that was just like Prius. They were just their own little like group. You know what I mean?
I do. I hate them so much now, though, that it's hard for me to remember a fondness time for them.
Oh, I've always hated Priuses, but that's how they were. I mean, people kind of put themselves in a different category. It was them against the world, basically.
2 days ago. Maybe yesterday. Gosh darn it, my mouth again. I'm going to get better about all this. Gee whiz. At the same time, I think a bug flew in my eye, though, so God got me for that one.
Yeah.
I figured out the other day what the heck it was. Gosh, something really did get in there. What it is that I don't like about Priuses. And I know it seems like stupid. Like, you need to find something you don't like about Priuses, Prii. I really figured out what it was the other day, and it irritated me so that I can't unsee it, and now it's just like a problem, and I don't know what to do because there are so many Priuses out here.
Well, yeah, you live in like the Prius capital of the world.
It's the back window, and this is not an aesthetics thing, so this is not a judgment at all. This is specifically why I realized what I don't like about these cars. You know how Priuses are so effing unpredictable, and that's kind of the problem with them. You know, like they're just they do whatever, and they don't.
Yeah, like I remember
they must drive like
style.
Different cars, so they don't do what other cars do or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's always been an issue, but I could never figure out why I had such a hard time dealing with it, because other cars, there are other drivers who are dick drive or whatever. I don't have the same problem with them I do with Priuses. The back window on the Prius is very similar to that old Honda CRX, where it's almost like a two-part one.
Yeah, and then you had the glass panel down below, like where the taillights were at.
Yeah. Okay, well, because of this apparatus in a Prius, what it essentially does is just the way the seats are in the thing, and then there's this other. You can't see through a Prius like you can another car. So essentially, you have a compact size car in front of you that blocks you as much as an SUV. So you don't know what's going on in front of it. You can't see it. The bar would be right where you could see to the car in front's brake lights if something were happening on the highway or something.
That makes sense. Yep.
I literally saw it the other day, and I go, oh my God, that's the problem.
That's it. Yeah.
And it may actually be to the point where I highly suggest Toyota change that stupid design, because it's awful, and it's genuinely a problem that causes accidents.
More problems. Yeah,
also,
exactly.
It's not like it's particularly good looking, so I don't know what you're so married to, because they keep doing a new version of it every year.
The new body. I remember when it came out, the new body, like update, the new style or whatever, the taillight treatment. I was like,
the new thing, the new horizontal,
the V looking thing.
Oh, it's awful.
I'm like, what is that? Like, it's just terrible. Oh,
maybe we're old guys and we just don't get it, but I don't
know, but they took one of the ugliest cars in existence and made it uglier. I don't know how they did it, but congratulations.
You take a design that you go, no matter what they change, it can't get worse. It can only get better. And somehow they make it worse.
They managed to make it worse. I don't know.
Can I switch gears real quick and talk about the Smoking Tire Podcast Studio?
Yeah, how's that going?
Done.
Sweet.
It's
Did
done.
you guys lower the TV yet?
I don't want to talk about that. You can look at it and you can see I've made as many change. I've done what I can do without moving the TV.
Well, I did hear his excuse and his argument. That does make sense. I didn't realize that the mount went all the way through to the back of the wall.
I don't think the same mount does, but the fact that there's a TV on both sides does create a weight issue, and there's whatever the fuck.
That makes sense.
I don't really know, but I will tell you that it looks great, and I did some other treatment. You'll just see it. It ends up looking a little bit more centered and whatever.
Cool.
And we reframe the shot so that it's at least in the shot. It still looks high, but it's in the shot, so you don't really care so much.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good.
It'll be fine. And
you saw one of my favorite Beetles the other day. You sent me a picture of that. That was awesome.
Oh, that was Beetle. Yesterday. Yeah, and I can talk about that because Matt talked about it on the show, the cruise show that we did last night. Cool. That was Spike Ferriston's Polizia Beetle is there for the open house. And
do you remember the guest that was in that car for Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee?
Yeah, but give me a second. Was it Bill Maher?
Damn, you're good. Yeah.
Was it? I was going to say John Oliver. I couldn't remember. Was it Bill Maher?
No, it was Bill Maher. Yeah, it was Bill Maher.
Why did he pick that car for Bill Maher? I don't remember what the explanation was. I just saw the visual of him going in the car. Mm-hmm. Like, why would you pick this car?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of my favorite cars.
But do you know why? What the deal was?
About what?
About why he picked that car. You know, Jerry says in every episode why he picks what car for what
I don't
person.
remember why he chose that particular car, but it's one of my favorite cars that Jerry had. I was kind of bummed that he sold it, but at least Spike still has it. I'm sure they'll just pass it back and forth. Seems like that's what they always do. Damn, that looks good.
There you
Wow.
go.
Where's the stick shift? Is he not going to do that?
That is elsewhere in the building. We ended up making 2 out of 1 because everything came flat packed. The cutouts were all laser cut, but the pieces were still inside. So we had the positive and the negative. So he ended up taking the positives, and he did sort of the same thing down in the shop. So it's kind of a little Easter egg somewhere else in the building. But
that's cool.
But that's it. There you go.
Wow, that looks amazing, dude. Looks so good. Could you tell a difference once the foam was up?
Oh my gosh, that room is spectacular now. I also trimmed out the window with the same material, so I basically kind of killed any reflection that comes off that glass because there's a sound trap. If you notice, I put the tile overlaps the glass.
Yes.
The glass opening, and then we also did the inside as well, so it becomes a little sound trap. So, and then the stuff by the door does sort of the same thing over there. Acoustically, it's fantastic. Soundproof wise, we're on a main road. It's like a 6-lane road, so you can't do. And there's
only so much.
It's an exotic car storage place, so it is what it is. But he is happy, and it's done. I mean, there will be little tweaks. There's certainly little things I still want to do here and there, but as far as the studio goes, it's up and running, and you definitely can see
huge improvement.
Definitely can see my influence.
Yeah, it looks fantastic. I love it. Yeah, that's cool.
Good stuff. And then also, I would recommend, if anybody wants to, if you listen to the Smoking Tire or watch it anyway, definitely check it out. But we did a cruise show. Oh gosh, I should tell you. Oh gosh, do you remember? I've got like 3 minutes left. Do you mind a quick story, and then I have to tell you about St. Clair Insurance?
Nothing but time. We started a little late, so yeah, let's go.
Okay, good.
I'm down.
So we had a guest. Remember, I told you Torchinsky. I was like, when the show was over, the Smoking Tire Torchinsky episode. I was like, when it was over, I thought it was not there.
Yeah.
And I,
the thing went away. Yeah.
Had a moment, and I was like, some pee came out.
Yeah.
Couldn't explain it, but somehow it was there, and no problem. And we went about our merry ways. Checked the whole system. Everything seemed fine. Blah blah blah. Then, with confidence, we do the show. We do another podcast with a dude called That Dude in Blue, who's very cool. Apparently, he has a YouTube channel as well. Super, super cool guy, content creator. Very just a good dude though. Mm-hmm. And everything looked great. Everything went great. There was literally no problems. And for some reason, and we talk about this on the show, Matt talks about it. For some reason, the audio. Nobody's fault. Nobody did anything wrong. All the equipment was right. Nobody can explain this. The audio came out like we were like chipmunks underwater. Like
what? Whoa, that's trippy.
Hang on. This is amazing because I actually have a clip of it because I've never seen or heard anything like this before. And I'm going to, I'll just play it from my phone, but I'll figure out how to do this. Let's do this here. Well, you know what? It's just all you need to hear is the audio. So here, I'll just do this.
John, put it up to the mic.
Our landlord was such a nice man. It is such a nice man that I feel bad calling it shanty, but it was compared to this.
That's Matt talking.
No, I can't.
That's Matt? What? Oh, no.
Nobody could explain it. And we don't know if it was like a loose wire, like nothing was loose, whatever. There was a software update that we did the next morning after this problem because Zach sent a thing, whatever you call that, tech support.
Report.
Yeah. Just a crazy ass situation. So I mean, like literally what I feared that one day happened the next time. We thought we were fine.
Is that guy local? Can he come back and do it again?
They'll figure it out, and they'll do another show. He's not local, no. Cool. So it was a total bummer because not just that, but like this is Matt's opening week.
Right.
He didn't have time to just start adding shit to his plate this week, like doing another podcast.
Of course.
So yeah, it is what it is. So he was down 1 week this week. We're down 1 this week. Everybody's giving what they can.
Yeah, exactly.
But us, I mean, the show is sold. I mean, so you have to, you have commitments that you have to make.
Tell me about the St. Clair thing, by the way. Don't forget about that.
That's what I would like to segue to right now. Speaking of commitments, I learned something very, very interesting the other day about. I was talking to our guy, and then I was talking to Zach, who is the Haggerty guy, and apparently, you have insurance through Haggerty, so you're a perfect guy to tell us to.
Every single one of my cars is insured through Haggerty, with the exception of my boring daily, which is Mazda 3. Yeah,
and because they won't insure the daily, it's the collector.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Right.
All my collector cars though are everything's Haggerty.
So do you do it straight through? Like, do you have a rep, or do you go straight to Haggerty? Like through the website
I go
or
through
whatever?
Haggerty, and then they give me the PA like rep or whatever. But I've never had to use them, knock on wood. But
Right.
yeah, it's like I think it's a local policy though. They just they handle all that.
You are exactly right. You are bringing me to my point now. So I found out. I thought that you skip the middleman, you go straight to Haggerty. Maybe you get a better rate, maybe you don't. But either way, you're dealing with the company directly. I thought, that would be better. So, you would maybe skip that was for years. I thought that. And then, we had this. Now we have a rep. Now we have a guy. Now we have a somebody to promote St. Clair Insurance coverage for your toys. And I'm having this conversation. So there's two ways if you want to get insurance through Haggerty. You can either go through a rep, or you can literally do what we just talked about. Go through the website. Haggerty doesn't care. In fact, Haggerty would prefer and tries to route you through a rep. They would prefer you have a rep. There is no difference in cost. If anything, you're going to get a better customer experience with the rep. It's completely the opposite of what I had thought. They choose their reps carefully. Yeah, they're vetted.
Yeah.
It's not just, that guy with the office at the mall.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
if you call up St. Clair Insurance or go to coverageforyourtoys.com, you're actually probably going to get the white glove treatment a little bit more so even than going through Haggerty, which of course would already take care of you and always will. But I found it very interesting to know that even the company would prefer you do it this way. So I really love being able to say now, I love being able to remind people that, they say all that separates men and boys is the coverage for their toys. That's why we're talking about St. Clair Insurance. They provide coverage for your toys at coverageforyourtoys.com. Shout out to Jeff St. Clair, who is very understanding of us not having a Tuesdays with Tory this week and doing this instead. So
Thursday edition, baby.
Pretty cool. But I thought that was really interesting and helps me speak positively about this company in the future. I was already doing that. I already felt good about it. But knowing that we can actually convert some of our people who already are Haggerty people, just call Haggerty and they'll switch you over to him. You don't need to do anything. Your policy doesn't change. You don't have to change. You just make a phone call.
Yep.
You can probably even do it online.
Yep. That's true.
coverageforyourtoys.com. And then the last thing, the cruise show. I was lucky enough to do the cruise show over at the Smoking Tire, so please watch that on YouTube or listen to it on podcasts. It was just, it's normally just Zach and Matt, and the fact that they invited me to do it was very, very cool. Oh, also, I will be producing more shows. Zach's going out of town some more in the future. I meant to tell you this. Got some business and some vacation time coming up and things like that, and I will be filling in continually.
That's awesome, dude.
On a continuing basis. So,
Dude, good for
and
you.
that's great for me because I'm actually enjoying it. I'm learning a lot. I love doing this, but I enjoy watching and learning from other people doing this as much.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, and shout out to Jeff Swart, second place, Pikes Peak, baby.
Huge.
Team
And
Road
the whole
Scholars.
team, Road Scholars. And, we had a lot of people out there too, because there was a BBI car out there, and there was also a 000 had a car out there.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was awesome, and it was really cool to see them all lined up.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, go Jeff Swart. Have you noticed what they're all doing currently, buddy?
Yeah, I know. I'm sick about it. I was like, I'm not that they'd probably let me roll with them, but it would be fun.
I disagree. I bet you probably would have been allowed to roll with them. Absolutely.
That would have been cool, man. That would have been pretty neat.
In fact, I happen to notice they were missing a blue car.
I know. They had every other color there. Yeah.
If you don't know what we're
Yeah, I'd be
talking about,
jealous.
get over to Instagram and check out either Zwart or Portia Malone, Cam Ingram, or I can't remember who else was out there, but there's a bunch of 906s caravanning all through the mountains right now. Pretty
Did you
cool.
see what they called it? It's like the peak to peak. I was like, that's
Yes.
brilliant. And I
but
thought
with
that was
QUE.
so cool. Yeah. That was neat. Yeah, that was really cool. Fun stuff, man. Fun stuff.
All right. I guess we've done it. I miss you though. We should
I
talk.
miss
We
you
should
too.
talk one other time in between. Because this once a
Yes.
week shit, then everybody has to watch us catch up too. I don't know. Maybe that's part of it.
Maybe that's good. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see. I should have an answer on the yellow bug in like a week. The guy thought within a week. I talked to the shop owner, and the shop owner was like, I'll talk to him. I was like, look, I need an answer either way. I was like, because if he doesn't want my money, then I'll just give to someone else.
Right.
So,
You'll move on something else.
yeah. Yeah.
Speaking of which, though, and I forgot to ask earlier, and we didn't quite get to it. Still ghosted from that lady on the 63.
Yeah,
laptop?
yeah, she never answered back. Yeah, so I just deleted the thread. So yeah, it's done now. So yeah, no.
Even
right
if she
talk
responds
me.
to you, you're like over it.
Yeah, I'm over at this point. Yeah, because she's flaky at this point. I don't deal well with flaky people. Like if you can't answer me in 2 weeks, then like I'm not gonna give you my money. No.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's been a long time since I saw. Oh,
Yeah, it's
gosh,
been a while. Yeah. Nope.
And it was 2 weeks the first time between. Well, you're
Yeah,
due
exactly.
you're due for a message.
I'm due.
Maybe she's in prison.
No, I know.
She only
Maybe
gets
so. I don't know.
only gets
I don't know.
access every 2.
I know. No, I want this yellow car. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yellow cars have good vibes, right?
Yellow cars do have good vibes, both ours and this yellow RS right here on my shirt from Hunziker Design.
There you
Available at
go.
shophunziker.com. If you need a mask or this shirt,
Do you
right
need a
here,
mask?
Shop Hunziker.
Need a mask? Yeah.
A lot of people keep asking me. They're like, I keep getting messages, which is so funny. I keep getting messages saying, "Hey, what's that mask company you say we should buy?" I'm like, well, it's not a mask
Dude,
company, but if you want some
I have-
awesome automotive,
I have sold a lot of masks. I will tell you that.
You have
like
too?
I get the same thing. Oh yeah, I get people DMing me all the time. They're like, "Where did you get that mask?" Like I
Yeah.
love the one of the TAC, or I love the one that the Pasha.
I've been wearing the
I've sold
Pasha
of
one a lot
masks.
lately too because I forgot the other one was
Yeah.
in the pocket of my sweatshirt. I thought I lost it, but I didn't.
Yeah. I've gotten to the point that I'll keep like a different mask now in each car, so I don't have to like grab a mask before I go. Like I think the Pasha is in my Volkswagen thing right now.
That's exactly what I just did. I just put it in
yeah.
the pocket.
It's so
Nobody
much
steal it,
better.
but I just
So,
put it in
like-
the side pocket today.
Yeah, it's great. So you don't even have to worry about it before you leave the house. So it's like you get in the car and you just know it's there. So that's what I do. So I tell people, I'm like, look, buy like 3 or 4 of them because most people that are messaging me have like multiple cars. So yeah, go to Shop Hunziker, buy a few, and
Did you
you'll
see
be set.
Did you see the art that he is working on right now? The size
the
of it.
massive one? Yeah, I saw that. It's crazy.
I'm gonna dial it up on Instagram right now.
It is crazy. It's amazing that he works on such a big scale like that. Like, I mean, I know it's all proportional and graphs, and things like that, but grids or whatever. But it's still crazy to me.
The fact that his brain can see it though is what's so amazing to me.
I
mean,
know,
Sure, you
I
can
know.
you can do anything. You can get graphs going and everything, but
Yeah, it's pretty
let's
nuts.
see which one should we? Was it? Oh yeah, there you go.
Well, yeah, I mean the first.
Well, that's
the
not
first
even it,
one.
yeah.
No. The most recent one. Go to the most recent one right there. Yep. Look at that because you can see him.
Oh,
there
there it is. Yeah,
in the
yeah.
middle. Yeah, that'll show you how big it is. Yeah. Yep. So I mean that's probably like I don't know 7 foot tall.
Well, it's probably a foot off. But either way, it's probably a 5 or 6 foot tall. But I mean the length. I mean it's probably 15, 16, 20 feet
Freaking
long.
nuts. Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
was
that'll be
one.
cool.
This one though, I mean, that's tall as hell because that's only maybe
Yeah.
less than a foot off the ground, and that
Dude,
goes up.
he is just loving this like crazy like COVID environment where like people aren't allowed to leave because that's what he does anyway. He's kind of like me in that respect that he just likes
I
to.
I hope he's loving it. I find his creativity to be off the charts lately. That he used to do
That
so
one's
much with no
badass.
detail. Now
Yeah,
he's adding a little bit of detail, and it's getting nuts.
That one's badass. I love that one. That one's really cool.
This one, there was one where he did it had, I think it was Le Mans, where it had the stands and everything. Do you remember that one a couple weeks
Yes,
ago?
yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah,
Oh, Trans Am
yeah,
Championship.
that one.
This is
Yeah,
ridiculous.
the Vasic
Oh,
Pollock
it's
car.
so
Yeah, that
So
thing's amazing.
cool.
Yeah, that was cool.
All right, so shout out, lots of love for Nick Hunziker and
Yeah.
Heather.
Go buy some masks.
Yeah,
Mask up.
a reminder: if you see someone not wearing a mask, and they should be, you could say to them, "Hey, need a mask? ShopHunziker.com."
There you go.
Oh, buddy. All right. Well, I love you.
Love you too.
do the
Glad
goodbyes, I
all
guess.
is well.
All is well. I'm happy to be done over there with the studio, even though I'm sure, like I said, we'll still tweak stuff. I am excited to not be done going over there. The big open
That's
house
cool,
for the
I know.
Smoking Tire West Side Collector Car Storage is this weekend, tomorrow, Saturday,
That'd be cool.
Sunday. a huge list of people, and the cars that are in there are awesome. I can tell you a couple other ones just because he already brought it up on the show. Who owns this car now? Zuckerman owns the Audi. It's not a Group E car. I keep saying
rally
that, but
car,
the Sport
the red
Quattro,
one.
right?
Yeah,
It used to be Tim Pappas's.
Yes,
So
that's
that's
one.
there.
Sweet.
Spike's Beetle, which you already brought up, is there. And what came yesterday? The Highway Patrol 5.0 Mustang showed up.
Oh,
the
no
Fox
way.
Body Mustang,
Yeah.
belonging to Bruce Meyer,
Yep.
of course. And obviously there are some customer cars in there that have to get seen for the open house. So whatever. But there's very, very impressive collection. Really, really
That's
cool
cool.
stuff. Yeah.
That's neat. That's only going to be cooler as those stackers fill up. So good luck.
Yeah,
to
well,
him.
I
That's
posted a
cool.
picture today, which was just a snap of only a couple cars with no license plates or anything, and most of them were Matt's anyway. But you can kind of see what the heck it is, and it's like, oh man, this is so cool. I have to say, last night I didn't want to go home because they were starting to fill up the stackers again.
Yeah.
They were doing work to like clean everything up before the open house, and they were filling it up again. I stayed for like an hour after we were done with the podcast because it was just fun. It was like when I was a little kid, one of my most favorite things was like they built a house across the street for us in the woods when I was really little. There was no house, and then they built one, and it was like, oh, going to a construction site. So then later on in life, whenever there was a crane or a big construction site or a wrecking ball or whatever, like we would always stop and watch for a few minutes. This was like that. This was something new I had never seen before. All of these crazy things moving around and everything. I felt like a little kid again, and I just took it all in with my huge eyes, going like, "This is so
really
cool.
cool.
This is so cool." And
Yeah.
Matt called me a couple times. He was like, "It's the coolest thing in the world, right?" I was like, "It might be the coolest thing in the world. Like you have a giant life-size car set."
Like parking garage. Yeah. We all
I
used
had
to
that
have those
as a
with
kid.
Hot Wheels.
There was some
Yes.
sort of Hot Wheels or Mattel or Matchbox car, one of those. There was a whole thing,
Yes.
which was like a shopping mall, and it went in and down, and there was a tunnel you could drive through it, and it all
Yeah,
folded
the
up
Hot
into a
Wheels thing.
suitcase.
I had that. Yeah, I had the same thing. And there was a little car wash with sponges. Remember the
Yes!
little sponges?
Yes!
Yeah, dude. I know
Bro,
what you're
find that on
talking about.
eBay. I need that. I need that in my life because he has the real thing now, and it totally reminded me of that toy.
Yeah.
And I need to see that toy again. I remember it had the little parking spots where you could park,
I totally know
and
exactly
it
what
had
you're talking about.
in my mind there was a gate that like would go.
Yeah, there is a little
maybe.
gate, and then you press it, and then like it would hold the car on the incline, and then you press the gate
Yeah.
would go up, and then it would release it, and then it would go down. Yeah, I had the same
Oh
thing.
my god!
Yeah, dude. And little garages that you could back the car into and then shut the door. And
I have
like,
to
yeah.
see it. I have to.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah. I'll
little
find it.
tiny red garage doors. I didn't remember till you
Yes.
just said it.
Yes.
Whoa! All right. Well, everybody got to see that moment.
Yeah.
We have to find that toy. We have to figure out what it was called and whatever.
I'll have it for you in 5 minutes, guaranteed. I'm the
So
king of
that's
finding
what he
stuff on
has
eBay.
over there. It's all in a box, obviously, but it's just that little set, and
exactly
you
what it
just
is.
real life-size cars around really tight spaces, and they go in cool
Yeah.
things, and they do different stuff, and you wash them over there, and then you put them underneath, and
Yeah.
it
Pretty
was
amazing.
rad.
Actually,
So-
I already found it, dude.
No. That is it. That is it.
Yeah,
That's the
dude,
little red
that's it.
garage.
It's the
Oh
Hot
my
Wheels
god,
City.
it's funny. It's better and worse than I remember.
Yep. That's it.
Wow, dude, that is totally it.
24
And I
bucks,
remember
dude.
you took the side tracks off, and then you folded it all up into a little suitcase, and it had a little handle.
That was
on
it. Hot Wheels City Stow and Go playset.
$24, dude. I know what I want
Yeah,
for
dude.
Christmas.
I know. Yeah, I remember the building because the building accordion's down too, I believe.
That I
like
couldn't
one of the
remember. I
tall
couldn't tell how
skyscrapers.
that happened. If it was a hinge or what, I might have broken that off.
Yep. And then the little red garage door that we're thinking of downstairs was a fire station. That's right, because I had a little fire truck that I always put there. And then there was like a city freight lines. It was like a little weight scale, and you'd press on the thing, and then the needle would move for
I
the
totally
the weight
remember
of
that.
the truck. Dude, yeah, we had this. Yeah.
Amazing. Amazing. All right, everybody at home. Buddy, I love you. I love you.
Love you too.
I don't know what's going on next week, but I'm going to see you next. It's going to be you and me on Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll
I
figure
mean,
it out.
barring any any world-ending and or other events.
If we're all still here.
Yeah, assumingly so. We'll see you Tuesday, and everybody at home, I love you so much. See you out there. Love one another. We've got Breakfast Club tomorrow. we'll be at the open house on Sunday after Malibu. We're going to do the Cars and Coffee in Malibu. Oh, and check out the crew show just to hear what happened, the shit show over in Malibu last week. It tried to get shut down. There's a whole thing. Matt and I talk about it first up on the Smoking Tire Crew show. So we'll be at that, again, assuming it's still there, and then we'll be at the open house after that.
Sweet. Dude, have fun. You're going to have a good time. Have fun. Let me know how it is.
Love to Mrs. Ryan at home. Buddy, I love you. Love everyone out there, and love one another. We'll see you next week.
See ya.